that you were at the Breitbart party today. I was not. I went to the Evan Sayet preview of his Deplorable Life movie. Tell what scoops, what information, what is the news that the people listening to DatechGuy's Midnight Court can learn from you about the Breitbart party?
Pretty much nothing new. Everyone's drinking, everyone's happy, we're all reconnecting. I mean, most of us get to see each other once a year, other than those that actually work at Breitbart. So, it's just a fun time.
Now, Paris, were you at the Breitbart party?
I was thrown overboard since the party was on a boat. But all in all, it was. I heard people are usually packed like sardines, so I ended up not going tonight. So.
Now, this is, to my knowledge, the first Breitbart party that's ever been on a boat.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, it's the first one on a boat. It's interesting. We'll see if that happens again. But it was on a boat.
Yeah, and nobody got thrown overboard as far as I know.
I don't know that. There was an ambulance that left here with a girl on a stretcher.
But that was the hotel, though.
Yeah, but the boat's right behind the hotel.
Oh, so. I knew that.
So, intrigue and mystery on DatechGuy's Midnight Court. Amazing things you find out if you are listening to DatechGuy's Midnight Court here at the Gaylord Hotel in the lobby. Now, a little bit more information. Obviously, Kid with Lid, you are here at CPAC. You're here credentialed as press, as you were in the press room with us. What have you done at CPAC? What has stood out to you concerning this CPAC?
I mean, the biggest thing that stood out is obviously the president's speech. I mean, it's not often that by 26 you can say you heard 19 presidential candidates and one president speak live. So that's been pretty cool. And then the biggest change this year is the sponsors and vendors down in the exhibit hall.
Now, what I found interesting, and I've been doing a lot of interviews concerning Donald Trump and his popularity, asking people basically, and I'll be asking these same questions to any CPAC attendees who show up for DatechGuy's Midnight Court, basically who they voted for, what they supported, and one of the things I've noticed is, while there's been a mix of people that the voters supported, almost all of them have warmed to Donald Trump. I think I've talked to 3 people who are cautious about him. One elderly couple, one black Republican who's telling me that the longtime black Republicans are getting locked out, so to speak. And one guy who's a Paul Ryan guy who was ambivalent because he wanted to see more. And then those are all reasonable positions. But from what I can see, the people, even the ones who did not support Trump in the primary, and even some of the ones who did not vote for him in a general election, seem to have embraced him. What do you have to say to that, Paris?
I'd say that's probably the biggest thing that I didn't expect, because the energy behind Donald Trump seems to be. Everybody seems to be coalescing behind him because so far, so good. They're pleasantly surprised. Even when you have people like Rand Paul saying how pleasantly surprised they are on how Trump has conducted himself so far, his Supreme Court nominee and and most of his cabinet positions as well have been home runs.
And there's an irony here that I interviewed Sharon Angle. She's doing a radio show these days. We have to thank Sharon Angle for losing to Harry Reid. Because if Harry Reid is not the Democrat leader, he doesn't do the nuclear option, and the people who are now Trump's people, there was a lot of strong conservatives there who would not have passed in a filibuster Senate. And I think that's very significant. Hoist on their own petard, Kid with Lid.
Yes and no, because as conservatives, I think we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard than what Harry Reid and the libtards do. I think that we have to hold ourselves to the standard of we don't need a nuclear option, we can do it the right way, because that's what our principles should tell us. And Trump has kind of deviated from that, and yes, we coalesced behind him, but we kind of had no choice, because it was him or Hillary. And Hillary meant 50 years of awful.
Well, Hillary also... Oh, I'm sorry, Paris, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that I actually kind of disagree, because the nuclear option, so to speak, or the filibuster, is actually a rule created by the Senate. It's not constitutionally required. The Constitution only requires a 50% majority in the Senate. So it's allowed to set its own rules. Yeah, there was a gentleman's agreement all these years, but since it's gone, let's just get rid of it and move on, or especially for judicial appointments and cabinet appointments.
But officially, it's not gone.
Yeah.
Officially, it's in the rules and it stands. So
McConnell
either
brought it back.
eliminate it as a rule, or
Yeah, I agree.
or don't. But by doing this wishy-washy, we're no better than the Democrats.
Well, right, but that's Mr. McConnell.
See, a little bit of disagreement here on the Tech Guys Midnight Court, and remember, here at the Tech Guys Midnight Court, we are not monolithic. We do not all believe one thing. We do not all think one thing. We want all kinds of opinions, mainly because they're more interesting, but mostly because I'm a nosy bastard and I want to know what people think. Because I'm Sicilian. We want to know everything without saying what we think ourselves. But you can't shut me up, anyways. So, Kid with Lid, what has been the biggest story in your mind that you've written about? What have you written about that's been key to you?
So I'm more into my local politics on Long Island. The big thing right now on Long Island is a guy by the name of Tom Suozzi, who is Steve Israel's protege, and unfortunately, my current congressman, who is a congressman because he got kicked out of his state assembly seat because he was too corrupt to be in that seat. He got kicked out for ethics violations, and now is a congressman. Figure that logic out.
Now, is he a Republican or a Democrat?
Take a guess if he's Steve Israel's protege.
No. I'm required to ask because there are people here who may not know. I mean, that's why we ask the questions at the Tech Guys Midnight Court.
Steve Israel is about as liberal as you can get, and Tom Suozzi goes to the left of him.
Well, in my opinion, if he does have ethics problems and is corrupt, I mean, if that doesn't qualify you for a Democrat seat in Congress, I'd like to know what does. I mean,
I mean, I would have hoped, given that this seat had gone purple, that we could have gotten someone in who was a little more towards the moderate side at the very least, but no. The Long Island Republicans have managed to drop the ball on that big time.
Well, as they say, they've not been called the stupid party for nothing. Speaking of stupid things, Paris, I want to talk to you about this. We've been seeing report after report in the mainstream media, and in fairness, this is the mainstream media we're talking about, that have suggested that suddenly the Republicans are getting cold feet about repealing Obamacare. In your opinion, and if you have evidence to the contrary, feel free to say it so that it's not just an opinion, is this the mainstream media trying to create a false impression among Republicans, or do they really not want to repeal Obamacare?
I think it's the media trying to steer the wishy-washy Republicans to get them to back down on it, making it, oh, it's going to be horrible, it's going to cost them the midterm elections, trying to create something that'll tick off the base so the Democrats can regain control of the House and Senate. But I think, and to some extent, they're right. I think the Republicans need to deliver on this. They've had 7 years to think of an alternative to Obamacare. It's not like it happened yesterday. So where's the plan? It seems like they're dragging their feet. Though I hear, and I'm from Wisconsin, so Paul Ryan is a Wisconsin congressman. I hear that they're actually going to be bringing out an Obamacare alternative or whatever, a repeal bill next week or two.
Now that would be a good thing for myself. As long as it gets done by the end of the year, I'm fine. And the main thing for me is that you want to do it before the penalties and rules kick in for the next year, because then you're inconveniencing businesses, you're making trouble for people. But the thing that I want to go back to you, Kid with Lid, you've got the mainstream media. They were wrong about the primaries. They were wrong about the Tea Party. They were wrong about Trump. They were wrong about turnout. They were wrong about state after state. Is there any sane reason why any sensible Republican would presume that they would be right about Obamacare? If you repeal Obamacare, the Republicans will hate you.
I think it's not even about whether we believe the media or not. As Republicans, if we look at the wave of energy against Trump right now and don't recognize that as the start of the Tea Party movement of 2010 on the Democrat side, there's no reason to have a Republican Party, because we're throwing the kid out with the bathwater. I mean, we've seen it on our side. they now have the energy advantage. Now we have to take that back by saying, okay, look, here's the plan. Here's how it's going to fix it. Oh, by the way, here's how it affects you. And that's what we're not doing right now. We're not doing the, here's how it affects you.
That is exactly right. We need to define it. We need to get out there. And the best way to overcome any media bias or anything is to deliver success.
This is, by the way, the Tech Guys Midnight Court. We have Kid with Lid and Paris who are commenting. And there's something here that I think is significant. And again, this is from the research I've done and from the interviews I've done. The last question I ask everybody is, what is the one thing that you want to see this administration accomplish? And I believe more than half of the people I've talked to, if I'm remembering right, have said getting rid of Obamacare. Getting rid of Obamacare was top on their list, and I don't think that the party could do anything that would infuriate the base more than leaving it stand. And I thought that during the Trump speech, he had first hinted that we're going to modify it, and then 2 lines later, repeal and replace. And when I first said the first line, every alarm bell in my head went off.
It got really quiet.
It got very quiet, and I think he may have sensed that and came back with the other answer, because I tell you, that
I think the
that was
problem
dangerous.
is